The path to liberation stretches wide open, yet you stand frozen, paralyzed by an invisible wall forged from past failures. This is the profound, insidious truth of learned helplessness, a condition where the mind, once subjected to unavoidable adversity, permanently abandons the will to escape, even when the chains have vanished completely. Today, we will dissect this astonishing psychological phenomenon, understanding precisely how repeated experiences of powerlessness can fundamentally rewire your brain's response to opportunity. Grasping this mechanism is not merely an academic exercise. It is a critical lens through which you can decode your own moments of inexplicable stagnation and, perhaps even more powerfully, develop a profound empathy for the struggles of those around you. Consider a simple, yet utterly groundbreaking experiment conducted in 1967 by psychologists Martin Seligman and Stephen Meyer. They placed dogs into specially designed chambers, each equipped with a low barrier the animals could easily step over. These dogs were divided into 3 distinct groups. The first group, a control, received no electric shocks at all. The second group experienced intermittent, uncomfortable shocks, but critically, they had a lever inside their chamber. If they pressed this lever, the shocks would immediately cease. They learned they had control. But it was the third group where the truly unsettling discovery emerged. These dogs were subjected to the exact same pattern of shocks as the second group, but their lever was rigged. It did nothing. No matter what they did, the shocks continued for a set period, completely unavoidable. They were utterly powerless. Then came the second phase of the experiment. Each dog from all 3 groups was individually placed into a new chamber, one divided by a low barrier that, again, they could easily step over. On one side, a signal light would illuminate, followed by an electric shock to the floor of that side. The solution was simple. Step over the barrier to the other, safe side. The control group, having never experienced shocks, quickly learned to step over the barrier. The group that had learned to press the lever in their original chamber also quickly learned to jump the barrier. But the dogs from the third group, the ones who had experienced unavoidable shocks, they did something truly heartbreaking. They simply lay down. They whined. They endured the shocks, making no attempt to cross the barrier, even though freedom was literally a single step away. Their prior experience of uncontrollability had shattered their capacity to perceive, let alone act upon, a new, viable escape. Their brains had been rewired. The concept of agency, of "I can do something," had been obliterated. But how does this seemingly simple animal experiment translate to the complex tapestry of human experience, decades later, when the cages are long gone? This mechanism doesn't just apply to dogs and electric shocks. It is a terrifyingly effective blueprint for human paralysis. Imagine a person, let's call her Sarah, who spent years in a deeply dysfunctional workplace. Every innovative idea she proposed was shot down. Every effort to improve processes was met with resistance or even ridicule. Her attempts to climb the ladder were blocked by office politics. For years, she tried, she struggled, she pushed, and every single time, her efforts were met with failure, rejection, or worse, punishment. She experienced a prolonged period of unavoidable professional adversity. Then, an incredible opportunity arrives. A new company in a thriving industry offers her a fantastic role. The culture is collaborative, the leadership values input, the pay is excellent, and the growth potential is enormous. It is, objectively, a wide-open path to professional freedom and success. Yet, Sarah finds herself unable to commit. She procrastinates on the application, second-guesses her abilities, convinces herself she'll fail even before starting, and ultimately lets the opportunity slip through her fingers. Why? Because her brain, conditioned by years of unavoidable adversity, has learned helplessness. The objective reality of the new supportive environment is irrelevant to the internal script her mind is now running. Her prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning and executive function, has been subtly rewired to perceive effort as futile, regardless of the actual circumstances. The invisible prison is not external, it is etched into her neural pathways. This isn't just about career. Think about relationships. Someone who endured years in an emotionally abusive partnership where their attempts to communicate or assert boundaries were consistently met with gaslighting or anger might find themselves years later unable to trust a genuinely loving and supportive partner. Every overture of affection, every offer of help is met with suspicion or withdrawal because their brain expects the shoe to drop. The escape from the toxic relationship was real, yet the conditioning of helplessness persists. This profound impact on human decision-making and emotion has been extensively documented. In 1974, Donald Hiroto's work extended these findings to humans, showing that individuals exposed to an inescapable noise subsequently performed worse on tasks where they could escape, mirroring Seligman's dog experiments. This isn't a character flaw, it's a neurological consequence, a deeply ingrained cognitive bias that says, don't bother trying. So, how do you dismantle these invisible prisons, brick by painstaking brick? There are 3 potent, research-backed techniques that can help you or someone you care about reclaim agency. First, embrace the power of successive approximations, or as it's often called, tiny wins. If you feel overwhelmed by a large goal or a looming decision, the sheer scale of it can trigger the "don't bother trying" response. Instead, break it down into the absolute smallest, most trivial, easiest possible first step, and then celebrate that tiny step. If Sarah wanted to apply for the new job but felt paralyzed, her first tiny win wouldn't be to complete the application. It might be to open the email, or to read the job description for 5 minutes, or to simply write down the company name. The goal is to accumulate irrefutable proof, however minuscule, that your actions can lead to a positive outcome. Each tiny win chips away at the learned helplessness, demonstrating to your brain that yes, effort does matter. This method works because it gradually reestablishes a sense of self-efficacy, rebuilding the bridge between effort and reward. The second technique is attribution retraining. When something goes wrong, or when you feel that familiar surge of hopelessness, your immediate internal narrative matters profoundly. People prone to learned helplessness often attribute failures to internal, stable, and global factors. I failed because I'm incompetent, internal. I've always been this way, stable. And I fail at everything, global. This type of attribution reinforces helplessness. Attribution retraining involves consciously shifting these narratives. Instead of, I'm incompetent, you might reframe it as, that strategy didn't work. I need to try a different approach. Instead of, I've always been this way, consider, this particular challenge is new for me. Instead of, I fail at everything, specify, I didn't succeed at this one specific task. This technique, explored by researchers like Carol Dweck in her work on mindset, explicitly targets the cognitive distortions that perpetuate learned helplessness. By changing how you explain setbacks, you shift from passive acceptance to active problem solving. You are teaching your brain a new story about cause and effect. And finally, engage in future-oriented goal setting with mental contrasting. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's a structured approach developed by Gabrielle Ettingen. You don't just dream of the positive outcome. First, clearly define your desired future state. The new job, the healthy relationship, the completed project. Envision it vividly. Then, and this is crucial, Identify the internal obstacles that stand in your way. What are the specific self-doubts, the habits, the anxieties, the fears of failure that might prevent you from reaching that goal? By actively bringing these mental barriers into conscious awareness, you create a clear roadmap for overcoming them. This contrast between the positive future and the internal hurdles primes your brain for action, allowing you to proactively strategize against the very learned helplessness that might otherwise derail you. It moves you from passive desire to an active, engaged pursuit. You now possess a profound understanding of one of the most insidious psychological mechanisms shaping human lives. When you observe someone seemingly stuck, unable to take an obvious step toward a better future, you no longer see weakness or laziness. You see a mind that has been conditioned, a brain that has learned a devastating lesson about futility, even if the lesson no longer applies. And when you feel that familiar internal resistance to change, that inexplicable paralysis in the face of opportunity, you can recognize it for what it is, not an indictment of your character, but a cognitive echo from past experiences. This knowledge isn't just theoretical. It offers a path to genuine liberation, both for yourself and for your understanding of every person you encounter. This invisible prison, once understood, begins to dissolve. The profound truth is that what has been learned can always be unlearned. Continue this journey of discovery with us, and you will uncover even more fundamental truths about the incredible architecture of the human mind, insights that will continue to permanently alter how you perceive yourself and everyone around you.